The Journey of Little Brown Bear. In the dense forests of Montana, where towering pines stretched toward the sky and rivers sang over smooth stones, a brown bear cub named Rusty was born in a cozy den carved into a hillside. The year was 2025, and the world beyond the forest hummed with human noise. But here, life followed the rhythm of seasons. Rusty's mother, Mara, was a strong bear with thick fur and wise eyes, raising him and his sister Clover alone after their father wandered off, as male bears often did. Rusty, smaller than Clover, had a reddish-brown coat that glowed in the sunlight, earning him his name. At 3 months old, he stumbled out of the den, his paws soft and clumsy, sniffing the air filled with scents of pine and earth. "Stay close," Mara growled gently, her voice a warm rumble. Rusty's heart raced with wonder. This world was big and he was small. Spring was a time of learning. Mara taught Rusty and Clover to dig for roots and snatch fish from the river. Rusty was eager, but awkward, often tumbling into the water while chasing trout. Clover laughed, her bigger paws swiping fish with ease. "You're too tiny," she teased. Rusty shook off the water, determined. "I'll get it," he huffed, diving back in. By summer, he caught his first fish, a wriggling trout he proudly dropped at Mara's feet. She nuzzled him. "You're growing strong," she said. Rusty felt a spark of pride, but the forest was full of dangers: cougars, wolves, and humans with loud machines. At 6 months, trouble came. A drought dried the river to a trickle, and food grew scarce. Mara led them deeper into the forest, searching for berries and grubs. Rusty's stomach growled, but he followed, his small legs aching. One day, they stumbled into a human campsite. The smell of food, sweet and strange, drew Rusty close. "No!" Mara barked, but too late. A loud bang rang out, a hunter's warning shot. Mara roared, scooping Rusty and Clover under her and fleeing. Back at their den, she licked Rusty's trembling head. "Humans are danger," she warned. Rusty nodded, but the hunger lingered. Fall arrived, painting the forest red and gold. Rusty, now stronger, learned to climb trees for nuts and dig for ants. He loved racing Clover across meadows, his paws thudding against the earth. But Mara grew thinner, saving food for her cubs. "Winter's coming," she said, teaching them to fatten up. Rusty worried. Would they survive the cold? He remembered the campsite's food and wondered if humans could help. One night, under a starry sky, he asked Mara, "Why don't we live near humans?" She sighed. "Their world isn't ours. We belong here." Rusty didn't understand, but he trusted her. Winter was harsh. The family huddled in their den, snow piling outside. Rusty's fur kept him warm, but hunger gnawed. Mara shared what little she had, her ribs showing. One stormy night, Clover fell ill, shivering despite the warmth. Rusty curled around her, scared. "Stay strong," he whispered, mimicking Mara's words. He ventured out alone, digging through snow for frozen berries. His paws bled, but he brought back a mouthful, feeding Clover. Slowly, she recovered. Mara licked Rusty's face. "You're brave," she said. Rusty felt bigger, even if his body was small. Spring 2026 brought new challenges. Rusty was a year old, his reddish fur thicker, his legs stronger. Mara taught them to mark trees with claws, claiming their territory. But other bears, bigger, older males, roamed nearby, drawn by the same scarce food. One day, a massive bear challenged Mara, roaring over a patch of berries. Rusty, heart pounding, stood between them, growling. The big bear swiped, sending Rusty tumbling. Mara fought back, driving the intruder off, but her shoulder was cut. Rusty felt helpless. "I'm too small," he whimpered. Mara nudged him. "Size isn't strength. Heart is." That summer, Rusty took charge. He led Clover to new fishing spots, remembering Mara's lessons. His paws were quicker now, snatching fish with skill. He found a hidden meadow full of clover, his sister's favorite, and brought her there to eat. "You're the best," Clover said, munching happily. Rusty grinned, but worry lingered. Mara's wound healed slowly, and human trails crept closer, their machines buzzing like angry bees. One evening, Rusty saw a human with a camera, watching them. He froze, but the human didn't shoot. Maybe some are safe, he thought, daring to hope. At 2 years old, Rusty faced his biggest test. A forest fire, sparked by a dry summer, swept through the valley. Smoke choked the air and flames lit the horizon. Mara led them toward the river, but the fire moved fast. "Run!" she roared. Rusty grabbed Clover's scruff, pulling her along as they dodged burning branches. The river was their only hope, but a fallen tree blocked the path. Mara, limping from her old injury, couldn't climb it. Rusty's heart raced. "We can't leave her," he told Clover. He pushed against the tree, his muscles straining, until it shifted just enough. Mara scrambled over, and they plunged into the river, the cold water, shocking, but safe. They huddled on the far bank, watching the fire rage. "You saved us," Mara said, her eyes shining. Rusty felt a new strength, not just in his body, but in his spirit. The fire changed everything. Their meadow was ash, their fishing spots ruined. Mara decided to move north, to a forest she had heard of with plentiful salmon. The journey was long, over rocky hills and past human roads. Rusty took the lead, scouting paths for Mara's weakened frame. Clover followed, trusting him. One night, under a full moon, on September 9th, 2025, they reached the new forest. The air smelled of fish and freedom. Rusty dove into the river, catching a fat salmon. He dropped it at Mara's feet, his chest swelling. "We made it," he said, his voice a young bear's growl. In the new forest, Rusty grew into a leader. At 3, he was no longer little, his reddish fur gleaming, his body strong from years of struggle. He taught Clover to fish like him, and Mara, now healthier, watched with pride. Humans, researchers not hunters, came sometimes, leaving food caches to help bears after the fire. Rusty, cautious but curious, watched them. One left a small carving of a bear near their den. "They know we're strong," he told Clover, who laughed. Rusty's life wasn't easy. Winters were still cold, food sometimes scarce. But he faced each challenge with the heart of an eagle, as Thomas, his human friend from stories, might have said. He protected his family, marked their territory, and dreamed of the day he'd lead his own cubs. The forest was his home, and he was its guardian. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Rusty climbed a hill, looking out over the river. An eagle soared above, its wings catching the light. He felt its spirit in him, wild, free, unbroken. From a tiny bear to a mighty bear, Rusty had carved his own path, proving that even the smallest could rise to greatness.